as mentioned previously, another way to run a WordPress blog is to install it on your web host. So in other words, a live hosted account, or I guess you could say a self-hosted account. So in other words, what I have here is the backend for my administration for one of the websites that I run, jeff-blake.com. And right now, there isn't anything there. There isn't anything if you go to jeff-blake.com, at this point in time anyway. But I've logged into my admin panel here, and what I want to do is I now want to install WordPress on my live web host. So you may have something similar on your side. You may have a hosting service that allows you to install different applications like WordPress, and you may also have an administration interface like I have. My administration interface is run by something called cPanel, which again you might be familiar with. And if you don't, then hopefully your hosting company can help you set up WordPress on your hosting account. But in any regard, cPanel is pretty popular. A lot of people are using it, and a lot of web hosts are providing it for their users. So I thought I would take a quick moment and show how to install WordPress via cPanel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down here. You can see there's all kinds of icons here. And if I go into an area called Fantastico Deluxe, I'll click on that guy there. And inside Fantastico, you get all kinds of neat, amazing things like content management systems and classified services and all the rest of it. And then underneath blogs there on the left, we have WordPress. So I'm going to click on WordPress. Okay. So there we are. So again, I just want to make sure we all understand here, we are not installing this as a free account on WordPress.com. This is a self-hosted installation of WordPress. I hope that makes sense. So let's see here. There's a short description there. You can go to WordPress.org if you want and find out more about it. The WordPress support form and so on. But what we want is this new installation. And there's the current version that we'll be installing for WordPress. There's the disk space required, followed by the available disk space that we have in our current hosting package. So I'm going to click on New Installation. Okay, wonderful. So that brings me to this screen here. Now I'm running a couple of different domains on this hosting account. So install on domain. So which account or which domain do I want to install this for? Well, I want to install this for jeff-blake.com. Now, what I could do if I wanted to is I could install WordPress into a subdirectory. For example, it could be something like jeff-blake.com/blog. So in other words, that would be the URL. That would be the address that you'd have to go to get to my blog. And if I wanted to do that, then I'd have to type in blog into this field here, right? Most likely with a / at the beginning, something like that, right? But what I want to do is I want to install it on the top level directory, if that makes sense. In other words, when you go to jeff-blake.com, I want it to go right to the WordPress blog, right? That's what we're after here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, you can just read through this paragraph of text here. Admin access data, the administrator username. So we're going to need this whenever we want to log in. So I'm going to use the very cryptic admin for my password. No one will ever guess that, and I'm also using that as the username as well. So admin and admin, because the bad guys will never guess that. In the real world, obviously, you'd have something a little bit more cryptic than that. But anyway, admin nickname, well, I won't tell you what my nickname was in school, but I will type in Jeff. Admin email. Well, I better put in my email address here, jeff@10tonbooks.com. Site name. So this is Jeff's blog, and a description for the blog. A whole lot about nothing. How's that? Okay, great. Now I'm going to go install WordPress. Okay, so Fantastico does its thing here. We have a MySQL database, which has been created. There's the user that will be created for this installation. And let's see here. We chose to install this in the top level directory, jeff-blake.com. The access URL for our blog will be jeff-blake.com. And we want to continue and finish up this installation, so go ahead and click on Finish Installation. I hope that MySQL thing didn't mess you up, but really it's all happening in the back end, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. Okay, let's see what we have here. Well, first of all, what we can do here, you can read through all of this, by the way, if you want. And what you can do down at the bottom is you can say email the details of this installation to, and maybe I'll do that, jeff@10tonbooks.com. send that email. I'm going to send that email in just a second, but what I want, though, is I want to go and log in to the backend, to the admin area of my new blog. And this URL here, you might want to jot this down. So, in other words, it's going to be whatever your web address is, .com or .us or .net or whatever it is, /wp-admin. So that's the URL, the path to get to your blog's backend, if you will. And once again, I'm going to hold down Command or Control on the Windows side, and I'll click on that guy. I'll open him in a new tab. We'll take a look at that in a sec. I'm going to click on Send Email, though, and I'm going to go and get that email in just a little while. But what I'll do now is I'll flip over to this tab here, and again, I'm back at this WordPress login screen. So my username and my password. And I'll say, remember me, log in. What the heck, I'll get Firefox to remember that. All right, there's our blog's backend. Okay, so again, this is a self-hosted or a self-running installation of WordPress. You can see that the backend here looks very, very similar to the backend that we had on the free account over on WordPress.com. Once again, I'll hold down Control or Command, click on Visit Site up on this top bar here. And there we go. There's my blog happening there. Very plain, but hey, we have a self-hosted installation of WordPress.